So Kim Hyacinthe, Crystal Emmanuel, and Shai, help me out with Shai's last name.
Davis.
Shai Davis. So, and they were the 4x1 relay members that went to the World Relays in 2015. So talk about that experience and how did that go?
Yeah, so we went, I think our best year was the 2015 year, and that was fresh off of losing Dondre. And I think we just had like a completely different, like, I think that whole experience, we became closer. Like, I think our bonds just became better because we all had to be there for each other. We were all mourning, and, you know, we made it our motto, our mission to always just finish strong. So yeah, we left it out on the track. We knew like that was the opportunity for us to book a ticket for Team Canada to have a relay team in Rio, and anchored the women's relay. It was a very close finish. We just got fourth by 100th of a second. But for us to like book that ticket, that was the biggest thing. And at the time, that was the Canadian record for us. So like that was the fastest we've ever ran, which we were really happy about. But, you know, yeah.
You mentioned DeAndre. I know you and him were really close. Talk about that scenario and what actually happened. Could you just briefly went over it for people who don't know?
So DeAndre, he is like 6'2". He is also Jamaican. So he's a Jamaican athlete, but he actually represents Canada. So he was born in Jamaica, came to Canada, and he also went to like he went to Mississippi State for university. But yeah, we were just like, he was like my close friend. Like he was like that brother sister type of relationship. I always knew that like he had my back, but we had that like, we always like play fought. Like we were always teasing each other. I would get on his nerves, and that was just like our relationship. And so because Canada's cold, we can't train outside. We can't really, you know, it's not beneficial for us to be indoors. We always took trips to St. Kitts. And Dondre loved St. Kitts because it's the islands. Like, this is like, that's where he loved to be. It's like almost like home for him. And so he asked me, you know, like I asked him actually just to like go down to the patty place. And I was like, yeah, walk with me to the patty place. And he came with me and we were just talking. We had like a good hour and a half talk. And afterwards, when we came back to the hotel, there is another hotel that has like a beach. And usually we go to the beach, you know, to like go just chill on the beach, you know, recover our legs. Salt water is like really helpful for recovery. And so he asked me to go to the beach. There was already some of our teammates that were over there. This was like after a long week of Friday. So we knew that we had the weekend off. I didn't want to go, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And interesting enough, like we were talking about people who didn't know how to swim. So, you know, we mentioned two teammates that we were like, I don't know how they don't know how to swim. Like, you know, like we were just talking about it in terms of like, for me, I was like, that's the first thing. If I have kids, that's the first thing that they're going to learn, because I don't want nobody to push my kids in water and they're going to drown. Like I literally said this before going into the water in the beach. It was like a normal day. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was a very normal day. Like there was no crazy waves or anything of that sort. We were like close to shore, just standing, riding the waves a little bit. And at the time, I didn't even know that Dondre couldn't swim. That was the one thing, like we were talking about it, but he never actually mentioned to me that he couldn't swim. So because he's tall, he went out a little further and he was like, oh yeah, like I can still touch, you know, like come out a little further. And I can swim decently, you know, I could do like a little, you know, my mom put us in swimming lessons. So like I can swim definitely like to save my life, but I'm not nearly like an expert or anything. So for me, like the second you just say, yeah, come out, like I'm going. So I was about to go. And then I don't know, it was just this weird, like I just heard this whisper and it just said, stay. Like I've never heard it before. And so I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to stay. Cool. There was a gentleman, Gavin, that was sitting beside me and he was kind of right beside me, but he can't swim. So Dondre was like, Gavin, you know, come out. And he's like, nah, I can't swim. I'm not going out a little further. And then, I don't know, it was just like, he was like floating. everybody looked fine. Everybody was just riding the waves a little bit. It was cool. And then he said, Gavin, help. So we're like, why would he call? Like, we're like, nah, you know, Dondre, he's a jokester. Like, he always tells jokes. He's always, you know, like, that's just his character. He always laughs about things and makes a joke of everything. So we're like, nah, like, he's just joking. He just wants Gavin to go pretend to save him because, you know, it's funny just to like kind of scare Gavin a bit so that he goes out further. And then he said, help. So then we knew, like, okay, yeah, no, he's actually scared. There's something really wrong. And it was just this, I don't know, the whole incident was just like, I still can't wrap my head around it. So Kim had actually went out to swim to go get him because she's like the strongest swimmer. So we're like, okay, Kim's gonna go. She's gonna grab him, pull him back. Great, we'll be fine. But there was this really strong undercurrent that we didn't really know about. So Kim ended up coming back. And so like we had to kind of actually, you know, go out and actually pull her through because she was swimming, but she wasn't going nowhere. And she started crying, like hysterically crying, like, what's going on? Like, where's Dondre? And, you know, he was just riding the waves backwards. Like, it was just like the undercurrent was just pulling him back. So we called help for on the beach. We had, me and Kim ran to go get our coaches and get help. And, you know, people came out to him. They had like the little fins, the little flipper things, and they came out. And when they were like surrounding him, he just went under and we couldn't find him. He was just missing for 4 hours. It was the weirdest experience. Like, that was, I think, the first time I've ever really lost anybody. And I think it just being him, like, and just being so close to him for so long, like, I picked him up every single day for practice, running jokes, like, that was just the normal. So I don't know, it was just so crazy to like lose him in that way. But it definitely helped my relationship with God. And when I look back, like, you know, he passed in the place that he loved most. Like, he loved St. Kitts, he loved the beach. So I think there's always something in there's some beauty in tragedies.